Hey there, Sart here. I'm going to do one more Clash of Wills Rank 1 clear video for you guys. There are tons and tons of videos out there, using Abby. If you have Abigail, if you picked up Abby, you can pretty much bring any team you want and get this one done. You've probably seen countless videos with Abigail out there. And so I'm going to do one that does not rely on Abigail. I've already done my Rank 1 with Abigail. But if you didn't pick her up, maybe you don't have the lapis, maybe you're saving up for like leader skills or something like that, that's fine. I'm going to show you a clear that gets this done without Abigail, relying on arguably the next best option, which is Red Wings Cecil. All right, so let's get in here, turn on all these mods. All right, here's the team that we're working with. I went with some older units, units that have been around for a while. So hopefully, you have them at EX3 or close enough to getting enough EX levels that you can manage a full bonus mod clear here. I will go ahead and say straight away that using any tank besides Abigail automatically increases the amount of RNG on whether or not you're going to survive long enough to actually do the damage and to do the clear. With this team, I've worked it out that really the only turns that you have to worry about are turns 1 and 3. Turn 1 is always a crapshoot. I would say more than 50% chance Cecil is going to die on turn 1, but he will re-raise. That's not a problem. Like, you should expect Cecil to die on turn 1, but there's a small chance that the whole team could take a big magic AoE, and in that case it's just a wipe. You just quit, start over, come back again. Then turn 3, it's another sort of like a hairy turn where Cecil's almost certainly going to die and there's a chance the team could take a hit. But after that, the fight, if you do the fight the way I'm going to show you here, if you get past turn 3, you're pretty much golden. All right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and get right into the fight just because of that RNG factor. I'll show you the gear at the end if we get everything done and get our rank 1. All right, let's get in there. All right, so there's Cecil starting off with that nice LB damage field. That's going to be very important because most of our DPS units here are using their LBs for their big burst. All right, first thing we're going to do, Roberta. All right, you notice she's starting in shift form. That's for a couple of reasons. For one reason, she is wielding the Empress's Rod for that turn 1 morale fill, but also for another reason. I'll explain in just a minute. So Roberta is going to do her Aquan and Insect Killers, which also provide the 30% racial mitigations for Cecil, and then Inferno Breath to imbue the party. All right. Next thing we're going to do, Chizuru is going to use this skill, Dedicated Samurai Slash. All right, and the reason, this is another reason why Roberta starts in Brave Shift form, because this skill does a 500 base morale fill plus 100 for every physical attacker on the field. Currently, we have 5 physical attackers on the field, okay? Because Roberta in her Brave Shift form is a physical attacker. Sylvie in her Brave Shift form is a physical attacker. Cecil in his normal form is a physical attacker. And then of course, Sky and Chizuru are both physical attackers. So that means using this skill will give us 1,000 morale fill on this turn. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. All right, then Sky's going to shift, do her LB. Sylvie will shift. All right, we're going to do Compassionate Knight. We're going to save Burgeoning Defense for next turn. So we're going to do Compassionate Knight, Elemental Vines for the magic mitigations, and Paladin's Resolve. All right, Cecil can shift. All right, and he'll come down. He's gonna, you've probably seen clears where they do this trick with Abigail, where they start with the Omni cover that does the 90% general mitigation. So you do that, but then you come and you activate the magic cover, which erases the Omni cover, so that it's only a magic cover, so that way Cecil doesn't die from the fixed attacks, but it keeps the 90% general mitigation. Now, even with that, Cecil's still probably going to die, so we're going to put re-raise on him. And it's okay if he dies. Like, if he dies on this turn, it's fine. What we don't want is for one of the AoE magic nukes to go through and kill the party. All right? So that's what we're hoping for. If Cecil survives, which is a low chance, that would be awesome, but he doesn't have to survive on this turn. He just has to tank all the damage and re-raise so that the party doesn't take anything. Okay? Now, everyone on the team has a stack of guts, but we're hoping to save that for turn 3. Okay? Olive is just going to do her breaks, Sky Sea Shooter, Flaming Melons, and Gunner Guardian. Alright, nice big jump on the morale for turn 1. Alright, there's a lot of AoEs there. Maybe I'll get lucky. Oh, wow. I got super lucky on that one. Alright. Now, if your Cecil died on this turn, you would just re-up his magic cover. I'm basically going to do almost the exact same actions anyways. You'll do his cover, just to re-up that. True Light Wall for the fire and light resistance buff. And then you would just do another re-raise. And so I'm basically going to go ahead and do that. Actually, no, since he didn't, I'm going to do Curaga. But if he re-raised, he'd have much higher HP on this turn. Since he did not re-raise, his HP is lower than I want it to be, so I'm going to use a Curaga. But if he re-raises, and then he should have much higher HP, and you just re-up your re-raise on this turn. Alright? Alright, so now Sylvie, alright, is going to do Burgeoning Defense, Elemental Vines, and Paladin's Resolve. Okay. Boom, 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 and that should have us covered, yeah? Okay. Alright, Sky's going to go ahead and do another LB. Roberta's going to shift. Alright. If your Cecil died, you would need to re-up your Aquan and Insect mitigations on this turn. Since he didn't, I'm just going to do Rousing Roar. Draconic Triune, that's to fill up Sky's LB. So if your Cecil died and re-raised, you would do Aquatic, Insect, and Draconic Triune. But for this one, I'm just going to do Rousing Roar for a little extra morale fill. I'll go ahead and re-up the Inferno Breath too, might as well. Okay. Alright, so now that Sky has gone, Roberta can go so that she refills that. Alright. Olive will get ready for her SLB next turn. Alright, Chizuru is going to do the Katana Imperil because Sky is wielding the Dark Visions Katana. I did not give Roberta the Dark Vision sword. Roberta's just wielding her spears on this one because I didn't want to assume, I didn't want to assume that you had both Dark Visions weapons. And so if you have the Dark Visions Katana, you put it on Sky, right? If you don't have the Dark Visions Katana, but you have the sword, then you can give Roberta the Dark Vision sword like you saw in my previous clear and just give Sky a, you could probably, honestly, you could give her Chizuru's Katana if you wanted to, because I think it has some extra killers, although Sky caps Insect Killer pretty easily. You could also just give Sky a spear if you don't have the Dark Visions Katana, and it should be fine. Alright, so this turn is typically a fairly tame turn for Cecil, but we'll find out, right? He could decide to just do a whole bunch of AoEs. Alright. Again, we're lucky. Now, this turn is rough, okay? Especially for Cecil. Let me just make sure he's still got his re-raise on him. He should still have it. Alright, no matter what, yeah. Okay, alright. So he's just going to guard this turn. He is most likely going to die. But again, just like turn 1, as long as the team doesn't take any AoE magic attacks, or I should say more than one, because everyone has guts. So everyone on the team can take one AoE magic attack if one sneaks through, and that's okay. If the boss decides to go crazy on AoE magic attacks and everybody dies, well, then we just restart the fight. Okay? So Cecil will guard. Sylvie's going to shift. Alright. She'll do Beaten Insect on Olive, and then 2 Cheerful Paladins for morale fill. Roberta's going to do her LB. This does the 350% full buff, as well as a 300% LB damage buff for the party, and that lasts for 5 turns. So that'll be that'll still be there when we need it on turn 6 for our damage cap burst. All right, so now we're just going to LB, 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 and this is just to do a little bit of chip damage. So the boss does not have a defense and spirit buff up on this turn, so it's got no buffs on this turn. Like turns 3, 6, 9, 10, those are all perfectly good turns to do lots of damage, because the buffs have naturally worn off on those turns. So 3, 6, 9, and 10, you're good to go. So we're going to go ahead and do a fair amount of damage on this turn, hoping to do between like 20 and 25% shaved off the HP here. All right. Nice. All right. That was a healthy burst. All right, so definitely expect Cecil to not survive this one. Yep, there it is. All right, thankfully nobody took an AoE magic attack, but if they had, they would have gutsed out and we would be just fine. All right, so now Cecil. All right, he still has 1 turn of 85% general mitigation thanks to Sylvie. So he's just going to re-up his cover. Okay, we'll do another True Light Wall. And we'll do a re-raise. Okay, you always want to make sure you've got re-raise on your Cecil, because things can go wrong. I mean, you know, I say turns 1 and 3 are the worst, but things can really go wrong any turn if the boss just decides to go crazy with AoE magic attacks. It is limited to 3 of the AoE non-elementals every turn, but you know, it's still dangerous, still dangerous. All right, so Sylvie's going to come back. All right, we are going to do Compassionate Night. That's important for turn 6. Because we need to make sure everyone is resistant to Confuse, Paralyze and Confuse on turn 6. And then Elemental Vines and Paladin's Resolve. Okay. I think we should be good there. Yeah. Okay. All right, Olive is going to go ahead and do a little chip damage on this one with her dual Summer Shot. All right, Roberta will go ahead and do, we'll go ahead and re-up our mitigations for Cecil, because he's going to need it. We don't need to do Draconic Triune on this one. Yeah, I think we're still good there. We can, depending on if you didn't use Inferno Breath on turn 2, you might want to re-up it here just to make sure that it's still good. I'm just going to do some more morale fill. All right, so I think we're good there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and use the Defense and Spirit buff for Cecil, since he died. We're going to bring Sky back to normal form to make sure her LB is filled. I will do Sharp Spear Focus and Double Furious Skyfall. That's for the higher defense break, because currently we only have an 85% defense break, but she'll do an 87% with that skill. We are going to do Insect Pulverizer on Chizuru, which is now a tag chaining skill, because after you've used her Brave Shift LB, that becomes a tag chaining skill, which is very nice. So that way, you know, Olive can cap the chain. All right. Let's go ahead and do the attack and mag buff too. So we do a little extra chip damage here. go. All right, so we're already at 200% morale, which is great. All right, so there you go. Cecil taking it like a champ. He's going to do his LB on this turn, all right, because we want to make sure that he and everybody has good general mitigation, because Paladin Sylvie's general mitigation has worn off now. So from here on out, Cecil will only have 75% general mitigation, okay? But it should be enough. And like I said, he's got re-raise on himself, so he should be good to go. Okay, Sylvie is going to come back. We're going to do Beaten Insect on Olive again, because she is our strongest DPS unit on the team currently, and she gets the 90% spirit break, so she's going to be doing the most damage out of everybody on the team. We'll then do Paladin's Defense for Cecil, and Clever Paladin Strike. This is just to make sure that Chizuru's LB is full. Chizuru will do Tyvus' Spirit. Sky will do Tyvus' Spirit. Roberta will do Inferno Breath to make sure everyone's still imbued. Mega Breath and Ignitas's Domain for the 10,000 HP barrier. Okay. And that should be good. Olive will set up for another big burst. For SLB, she's got her Fire Cannon Fire ready, so we should be good to go. All right. Again, anything can go wrong. Always be prepared for it. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what we want to do. Just double checking myself. All right, that's okay. He died. That is perfectly fine. All right. So we'll just go ahead and shift him, and we'll go ahead and just get him sort of reset up. All right. He'll do, he'll do Lunarian Might, because that does both the, both a 75% magic mitigation as well as the light and fire buffs for him. So that's why we kind of save that one. And then we'll re-raise on him. Always want to keep that re-raise up. All right, Sylvie will do her LB. Roberta is going to quad Mystic. All right, so this is our burst turn. So we're hoping we're going to hit that damage cap and push well into phase 2 territory here. All right, now one of the reasons why this strategy works is because the HP lock does not work. It's not functioning. Gumi put out a notice about it saying they were not going to fix it. I assumed they were going to fix it like day one, and they never did. So it is, this strategy will work. They're not going to fix it at maintenance, so you basically get a freebie for this cow. So there is no HP lock, so we're going to go straight through 50%, probably all the way down to close to 20%, which means we should be able to kill this thing on turn 8, which means we will not have to deal with another one of those chimeric rage turns, if we're lucky, of course. All right, so Sylvie will go ahead and do that. All right, Cecil will go ahead and set up. Now he only has 50% general mitigation, which kind of sucks. But like I said, he's got re-raise, so he's fine. Okay. I'm not sure what happened there, so I'm just going to make sure. All right, but he should be. All right, so he's got all of his buffs in place. It's looking good. All right, even if the boss reduces his fire and light. He'll still have 100% resistance, and the boss starts doing a lot more elemental damage below 50%, which we actually want, because that means he'll take less damage overall. All right, so yeah, he is basically ready to go. If he dies, that's fine. He'll re-raise, and we'll just re-raise him throughout the rest of the fight. So now everyone else should be good to go. All right, we should have our imbues. We should have our killers. Okay, yep. Everyone should be ready to rock and roll. I'm just going to double check everyone here. Yep, looking good, looking good. Okay. All right, so Roberta's going to start us off. Once we comfortably reach the chain cap, we'll send Olive and Chizuru, followed by Sky. This team has routinely been doing between 2.6 and 2.8 billion on this damage cap turn, so hopefully we land somewhere within there. All right, let's see how we do. God, just totally messed up that chain, but hopefully it still works. Wow. Man, my butterfingers still worked out. 2.8, look at that. That's why I love Roberta, man. You can screw up your chains and everything just fits into a mystic breath. Like everything just works. I love it. All right, so as you can see, that was a fairly tame turn. It can still do, the boss can still use non-elemental magic attacks on that turn that might kill Cecil, but that's what the re-raise is for. All right. Now on this turn, Sylvie is going to go ahead and get rid of 6 of those Mirage stacks. Sky is going to shift back. We're going to do another Sharp Spear Focus and double Furious Skyfall. Furious Skyfall has 2 parts. So that will get rid of the remaining 4 stacks of Mirage. That will allow us to do a little more chip damage on this turn. You could, depending on how low you push the boss, you could potentially kill on this turn with Olive, but I'm going to push it to turn 8. All right, so we're going to do we'll do Sky Sea Shooter, Flaming Melons, Gunner Guardian, Giant Melon Ammo, and dual Summer Shot. And Chizuru is going to use her Devastating Samurai Slash to fill up her LB and do some tag chaining for Olive to cap. All right, Roberta is just going to we're going to re-up our killers and mitigations for Cecil, and Inferno Breath to make sure that we are well imbued with fire. I believe on this turn I'm just going to have Cecil guard, because I think he should have everything he needs. He's got his cover. Oh no, actually I'm going to do his 90% mitigation on this turn, aren't I? Yep, because that is back up. Perfect. So what I'll do, all right, we'll do Come Our Battle Awaits. We'll do his cover to get rid of the Omni cover, and then we'll do the bigger attack and mag break. Actually, no. We don't need to worry about that because he's already got the 87% breaks. So let's do Come Our Battle Awaits, cover, and Curaga, just to make sure he is topped up. And this should really make sure that like he does not die on this turn. Even if he does, again, he's got re-raise, he's got all of his boosts. All right, he's got his magic damage, so he should be good to go. All right. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get rid of our Mirage stacks. All right, the boss no longer has Mirage. Perfect. What did I have Roberta doing again? I've already forgotten. Yep, Aquatic, Insect, Inferno Breath to make sure everybody's imbued. Okay, we'll go ahead and use the morale skills to finish topping up some HP. Make sure he has defense and spirit. Go ahead and do the attack and mag. All right, and yeah, we should be good to go. Cool. All right, so we'll just start Olive, and then wait a few seconds. We'll start Chizuru. She'll tag chain. Olive will cap. I doubt it will kill the boss, because the boss has like a 25% defense and spirit buff up right now, but we'll see. Yeah, I didn't think it would kill, but we'll definitely kill next turn. No problem. Wow, so you see the boss did a lot of AoE magic attacks on that one, but Cecil handled it like a champ thanks to that 90% general mitigation. All right, so we are good to go. We've basically just collected our rank 1. All right, so we'll just go ahead and do another big burst here. We're gonna do Fiery Brilliant, Sky Sea Shooter, Fire Cannon Fire, and Dual Summer Shot. Chizuru will do her LB. Sylvie's ready to go, so we could do another. You could either do the Insect Killer buff, or you could do Leaping Love. I'm going to do Leaping Love just because I think that'll be better for everybody. But yeah, everyone should still have insect, at least 150% Insect Killer up, anyways. All right, so just like before, we'll send Roberta and Olive. We'll start with Olive, actually, and then we'll do Roberta, and then Chizuru and Sky. All right. And there you go. That's how you get a rank 1 against the Selachimoth of unknown origin without Abigail. It's not easy. Like I said, it's definitely a gambler's team because things can go wrong. Like I said, turns 1 and turn 3, those are rather dangerous turns. But if you get through that, it's pretty much a win for you. All right. So there you go. There's your perfect score. Obviously Olive is leading the way there. She had to hire Spirit Break. I did also give her the 250% insect killers. But yeah, that's how we got it done with some older units, no limited units, no NieR units, no Abigail. That's how we get it done. All right. Let's see what prize I got today. Nothing I want. All right, so now let's look at the gear. Now, in my previous clear, I had some people saying that, like, oh man, my Abigail's spirit is 2,000 less than yours, and I couldn't figure out why. And then I realized it's because when I showed the gear at the end, I did not activate any of the bonus mods, and so I'm going to activate the bonus mods now, so you see. All right, it's that defense and spirit one that was throwing me off, and that's why my Abigail's spirit was so much lower than everybody else's that was comparing. So I'm going to activate that now so you see what your defense and spirit should look like when you've got all the mods turned on. I'm also going to turn on the party elemental resist down, which is only 50% this time, which is nice. All right, so now let's go in and look at what everything looks like here. Okay, we've got, let's take a look at Sky. So Sky, as you can see, wielding the Dark Vision's katana, lots of cow gear. You don't really need it in her normal form, but the cow gear is good for morale fill every turn, obviously. Tyvus's spirit, if you only have one Tyvus's spirit, I would recommend probably giving it to your Chizuru. I don't know, you can kind of play around with it and do like a Tyvus's spirit on Sky or Chizuru. I just happen to have 2, so I gave each of them a Tyvus's spirit. Might not be necessary if you do a high roll. Like you can see, we did 2.8 comfortably, so might not need that extra Tyvus's spirit. Chizuru's card is there because it comes with that little bit of extra killers to help her cap her killers, and 1 form of guts. That's to make sure, just in case the party takes a hit on those big damage turns. In her Brave Shift form, I gave her Glorious Headpiece. That is to make sure that her LB is full on turn 2, because Cecil will do 30 LB fill with his Omni cover, and that means she needs 10 more to get full. So with Glorious Headpiece, that gives her a full 5. Sorry, that gives her an extra 5, so that she has a full 10 LB fill per turn. So you see she's got 1,000 LB fill per turn. That's 10 LB crysts, so that way she has a full LB on turn 2. And then yeah, just the killers. She with her intrinsic ability, she basically maxes out on Bug Killer. I mean, her intrinsic gives her a 250% Bug Killer. So very easy to cap on Bug Killer, which means all you have to do is focus on Aquan Killer for her. Very, very nice. All right, so in her Brave Shift form, 300% LB damage, 300 aquatic, 300 or actually only 275 insect, but that's fine. It's not really, you don't have to worry about it too much. And yeah, there you go, rocking it. Like I said, you could probably get away without using the Dark Vision's katana, but you would definitely need Tyvis's spirit in that case. Cecil in his normal form, just some guts to make sure in case he re-raises, but then the boss does another AoE magic attack, he will guts out while he's in his normal form. He does need his TMR to activate the LB damage field, so that's important. Otherwise, he can be basically naked. In his Brave Shift form, with the elemental resist mods turned on, he needs to be built up to 200% fire, 200% light. He doesn't actually need 200% light because his own buff, his on-demand buff actually does a 200% light buff. So you could get away with a little less light resist, but you must have at least 200% fire resistance after that, after the elemental resists mod has been turned on. Obviously he's got his STMR, but if your Cecil's only EX +1, just put in, you know, the best spirit gear that you have there for him. Your Cecil doesn't have to be EX2 for this because we're not using his LB right away. But EX2 obviously helps because higher stats makes him a little bit easy, you know, bulkier, easier to survive. Midsummer Butter just for another form of guts, just in case. And then yeah, just some basic elemental resist gear. Bunny Loving Paladin and Bashful White Mage will allow him to finish topping up his Spirit TDH, so he has full 400% Spirit TDH because we're not using his vision card. We're using Power Cut to give him more bulk. If you don't have Power Cut, use a card that has the most base HP and Spirit on it that you can. All right, you need lots and lots of HP. You need this guy to be bulked up. All right, if you want him to survive reliably. Chizuru in a normal form doesn't really matter. Just, you know, make sure she's got Tyvis's spirit if you have it. If you don't worry too much about it. You see I've given her Call of the Wild. That is to make sure that she has her LB refilled after the burst turn. So on turn 6 we do our big burst. You want to make sure that actually, no, sorry. We do a burst on turn 3, not turn. I'm talking about the burst on turn 3, where she uses her Brave Shift LB. Then we need to make sure she's refilled for the damage cap turn on turn 6. That's what Call of the Wild is there for, to give her that little extra bit of LB fill, just to make it less RNG dependent. All right. In her Brave Shift form, that's where you want to focus on your damage. So, you know. Don't need to give her any Cal gear really because she's EX3, so she's got the full chain cap boost and all that jazz, all the static attack that she needs. Just got to fill out her Aquan Killer because she has plenty of Bug Killer in her kit already, and then make sure she's filled out on her LB damage. Again, gave her own vision card because we want to make sure she has guts just in case things go south and the team takes an AoE magic attack. So she is 300 aquatic, again, 275 insect. Oh wow, she's only 250 LB damage. That's right. So as you can see, I accidentally forgot to max out her LB damage and she still did fine. So there you go. You could even improve on this build. All right, Roberta, like I said, she's just dual wielding her STMRs. I didn't go all out with the Dark Vision Sword. If you do have the Dark Vision Sword, however, I highly recommend giving it to her. You just have to cap off her TDH. She has the six times chain cap no matter what she's wielding. If she's dual wielding or TDH, she innately has the 6 times chain cap boost, so you don't have to worry about giving her like Magister's gear or Indestructible Light or anything like that. So it makes her really nice and flexible in that instance. But yeah, here you go. And then yeah, I gave her Tsukiko's card because you can buy that from the Perma VC shop, so it's technically a quote unquote budget card now. And yeah, she's just capped up on her killers. Yep, 300 to both killers, and that's all you really have to worry about. Roberta's more here for the support than the damage, but she does chip in that little bit of extra damage there. Sylvie, she's dual wielding, and she's got Wilk's card. If you don't have Wilk's card, that's fine. Just put her own vision card on there. That's just to double proc the morale fill ability, and so Wilk's does 350 per turn, but if you're dual wielding, that makes it 700 per turn. So that's really, really nice. And she's basically got the exact same build in both forms. Dancer's Diadem to provoke any single target attack so that Cecil jumps out in front to cover everything. She has a couple of Blizzard Orbs, but it's very rare for her to counter. It's only if the boss does a normal attack, which is very, very rare to see. But if he does, it could make the difference in you surviving. If you do get like a wipe and then the boss does one normal attack on Sylvie and she just raises everybody, that could save your ass. So it's never a bad idea to have those on there. Originally I had her with a shield, and her spirit was higher than Cecil's, and there is an attack called Mystic Strike. It is a single target magic attack that ignores cover, ignores provoke, and targets the highest spirit unit on the field. And Sylvie kept getting hit by that attack, and usually she would tank it just fine. It wouldn't be a problem. It was usually the biggest problem on like turn 1 when she didn't have any mitigation up. But it turned out to be more of a headache than anything. So just make sure your Sylvie's spirit is lower than Cecil, and you'll be fine. All right. And then last but not least, we've got Olive, who's bringing the big damage. So I gave her most of my cow gear there for a nice high mag stat. She hits Aquan killers really easily, so you just have to focus on the bug killer. Make sure she's got full LB damage. And the Dazzling Demoness card is really, really nice because it does both Aquan and insect killers. If you don't have it, it might just mean your Olive's not going to be able to cap killers, but it makes it very, very easy for her to build. So there you go. All right, there's the gear. That's how we got it done. I hope this was helpful to you. Hopefully, if you guys did not get Abby, maybe you had bad luck or you just decided not to pull, here's an example of a team you can use to go grab that rank 1 anyways. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful to you guys. Probably not going to do too much else this week. I think we're just going to have a story event coming out this week. So, and I'm also going to be going away. I'm going to be going away on a trip this weekend, so I won't actually really be around much this weekend to do any kind of content. So I'll be back Monday of next week. So if there is anything that needs to be done, I'll make sure and get it done next week. All right. So thank you guys again for following me, and I will see you on the other side.